Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Friday of Smite Pro League. We're here on the third week, right before our week off. We're at technically the halfway point, getting ready to go into the first matchup of the day for the European region. The first match of the day will be Mortality Esports against Team Coast Blue. But of course, I'm Drybear. I'm joined today by Mr. Scott Gundy.
It's our first time together.
It is.
It's so fun. We played
let's
so
never
many
do that
games.
again, ever.
Yeah, we played so many games leading up to it. But of course, here, you know, as much as I am excited to cast with you, I mean, this match is. God, you got to say it's a little bit lopsided, right? I mean, it's Team Mortality, who's definitely looking like the hottest team in Europe, taking on Team Coast, who is at the very bottom. They have currently gone 0-2 for Team Mortality.
One thing I will say is that Mortality seems to be, very day on, day off kind of thing, right? We would see Sayo last week having trouble against a couple of matchups that he had. We saw Fexes losing the mid lane very, very strongly last game. But, one thing I would say as well is that Moex seems to be right on point. So he's the target here for Coast. You got to make sure that Sayo doesn't get off. You got to make sure that Moex isn't free to farm as much as he wants. But we're hopping to the picking pretty shortly here. As you see Coast on the right side of your screen, Mortality on the left side of your screen. Already banned out as Aphrodite, which is going to be a shot, of course, across the way to Variety. And then, of course, Giannis banned out as well. But Mercury, the first ban for Coast, and that will be the start of this picking stage. So Coast really has to make a win here because they came out of the qualifiers for the Pro League very, very strong. And it seemed like they really were picking up a lot of steam. In fact, they were one of the most favored teams going into the Pro League. But very shocking the response we've had.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And, I got to say, with the new wall getting banned out, haven't we seen a lot of target bans from Zhang Kui since Sayo's been so dominant with him? Why do you think they've elected to go with new wall instead of Zhang Kui?
Yeah, honestly, I'm going to go ahead and agree with DM yesterday when he mentioned that I'm not on the new wall banning train, and I'm on the same exact avoidance of that train is a big thing. I don't think Nuwa is at the same level that everyone is really expecting her to be at. Now, one thing I did tweet out today is that Nuwa is among the top 5 gods for longest matches played, which means she's not very good at closing that match early. Now, we're looking at other characters. Rom, Giannis, Zhang Kui, the top 3 gods that have the highest kill count in the SPL so far. You got to ban them out. You can't actually remove that away. And so, right away, you're looking at Zhang Kui first pick. We see it more often than anything else. We see Rom first picks all the time. And then you're even looking at the supports. Athena and Geb, so powerful.
Yeah, they are. And as you take a look here, we'll get it up for you guys in a second, but we actually do have Zhang Kui and Nemesis on the exact same team, so Zhang Kui will not have to battle against his arch nemesis, if you will, just because of that ultimate just destroys Zhang Kui. But so, I think that's going to be okay for them looking at it, which isn't bad. And on the other side, we do have the Geb in the hands, and that's going to be a tough pill to swallow.
So we're going to hop into the picks and bans here, guys. Mortality Team Coast getting ready to ban out some characters here. Of course, we have some predictions going into what they're going to do. But Mortality left side of the screen, Team Coast on the right side of the screen. And the question is, will Zhang Kui be first picked here? Will Rom be first picked? Who's going to be banned out? Now, we know that Nuwa has already been banned. There's the Giannis, there's the Nuwa. Of course, bans have already taken place here. But, very interesting things have been going. Now, one thing we should talk about as well is Freya. Freya's been doing incredibly well. And she's the 4th or 5th most kills total in gods overall. Oh, she kills everyone.
Well, I mean, we saw it last night kind of in the match with Unique. I mean, you can just basically take yourself out with her ultimate and just rain down hell from the skies, and you see so much damage happen. So, it's not surprising to see Freya get a lot of new bans, but are the new items making her more powerful?
Well, it doesn't seem to be so. I think she's always been this strong. She's definitely strong. And actually, to confirm, she's 5th highest in kill count overall. She has killed 92 other gods so far in the SPL. Of course, kind of superseded by Rom's 142, which is a lot of kills so far. So Gab getting picked out here on the other side. Looks like, not sure what's that showing up there. Athena also showing up. Those got a little bit late there. But of course, you can see on the side of the screen, Rom first pick tier 4. Mortality Team Coast will have Nemesis and Zhang Kui selected together. Now, there's only 2 counters we've seen so far for Zhang Kui's ultimate. Nemesis and Kumakar. Knock him up in the air, let the ghost go up in the air, do nothing, come back down, and that's about it.
And, Kuma just doesn't seem as viable as, Geb or Athena. Or I actually like Bacchus in team comps almost more than Athena. I understand the whole global presence, but I just think, the CC you have from Bacchus makes him a little bit more useful.
Well, his CC is one of the most unique, right, with that Intoxicate kind of wobbling
back
and forth. You can't move, but I think it's really hard to top Geb or Athena. They're just so strong around that taunt. I mean, here's the thing. Geb and Athena, in my eyes, when you simplify it and boil it down, are just basically an ability. Athena has one of the best and so simplistic CCs in the game with that taunt AoE cone, drawing people towards. I mean, that's how you start and end team fights on that ability. And Geb has a shield. which
Geb
counters it
shield is-
directly. It's just, I mean, those two characters are just the lifeblood of everything. But
That's true.
we're gonna see a baby.
We are going to see the baby, Vamana. I'm assuming Sayo is going to be playing him.
Ooh.
What do you think?
I
I actually heard Kevin Adondes out there actually said that solo lanes determine whatever Adonis. Same
Adonde.
difference.
That's the
I
name.
say Adondes
hi-rez
because
Adonde.
I know him as KK.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I know him as
KK
KK.
Adonde?
Yeah, but he said a solo lane's actually made by your Vamana play.
Yes.
Do you believe in that?
The thing about Vamana is that he is this, hidden awesome character in disguise. And people
Yeah.
look at him, and the thing about Vamana is he's kind of like this ticking time bomb. He just sits there for 15, 20 minutes and does nothing.
Yeah,
clears
he
the
just
way,
hangs out.
Very safe. He's one of
Yeah.
the only warriors in the game now that can clear the way with one ability, that Umbrella Ring. And so he's kind of unique in that aspect. But the other thing for him is that when he hits that 20, 25-minute mark, he's unstoppable. He is a carry in his own right. And so when he gets that mid and late game stage, we see him just come out and smash, 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 smash. In fact, he's in the top 10 for lowest amount of minutes played. He finishes games very quickly because once he hits that state, he's very powerful. And we're seeing Sayo play these kind of late game carry, hyper carry kind of characters. Freya. We've got Junkwei as well, which works very well mid game. Vamana. We saw him play Mercury. A lot of play, Loki as well.
Yep.
Definitely strong.
Well,
late game
he had a
characters.
very, very difficult time with Loki yesterday going up against NQ. I mean, NQ really was slapping him around. I know you were casting it, but Baka just really... I don't know if Sayo's used to such aggressive play in the lane going up against him. He's used to being the aggressor. Everyone kind of backs up when they see Sayo, right? Because he's been so dominant.
Right.
But I think people are starting to try to figure out maybe if I aggress on him, we can take the lane.
Well, I think the biggest thing about Baka, right, is everyone's like, oh, Baka sucks.
That's the truth,
Baka
though,
sucks.
right?
And you face him like he's playing Baka, and you're like, ow, 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 ow,
So much of them Hages.
Yeah. So the final lineup here for both teams, guys. We have Team Coast on the right side of your screen. Ninja Bobat on Nemesis for right playing Junkwei. Princess Tomato on Athena, and then Shaggy Shank. He's got Apollo, and Scylla's gonna make it in this game. I love this. Scylla's
Really?
played once, and I love her.
I
love
don't know how Scylla transfers into the professional scene.
I love her. She's great.
I mean, it
AoE
obviously...
root, cripple, big AoE damage. The biggest thing about Scylla, and it's kind of like Giannis, right? Giannis
Yeah.
had this slow game when he came out. Same thing for Kronos. It's just people had to understand how to play here. So if you're not understanding the ultimate, how to time people, how to figure out where to land it, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
If you're missing ultimates with Scylla, she's garbage.
Well, yeah, that's...
I mean, you can simplify it down, but that's really what it is. Being smart enough to predict the movements for the ultimate is all Scylla is. She's
Okay.
great. She's good.
I mean, regardless, her kit still isn't bad, and taking a look at her team, it might be okay. I mean, Agni's... I don't see her... It's literally all about her ult. Her stun isn't going to really come into anything, or her snare, excuse me. It's not going to really come into effect, I don't think.
Well, I mean, look across the way,
I mean,
right? It does have a
besides, like,
cripple
in-game.
effect to it, right? So if Amana can't dash, Rom can't roll, Agni can't dash, and Geb can't roll either, Freya is really the only one who can still use all of her abilities while she's being rooted and crippled. So
Yep.
one thing to keep in mind is that because it is a cripple and a root, it does count as a hard CC timer, whereas cripple does count as a soft CC, but that time will start to tick up for the root itself, which stops the movement of your character there. So you look across the way, I mean, Scylla's got that teleport with a sentinel. It also counts as a ward. So when you put that little, what is it? What is the name of the little Scylla?
Roots?
No, the name the name is Sentinel. I totally forget. It's just like Bubbles. I'm gonna call it Bubbles. I forget what she calls it. It's a cute little name, but it's Bubbles.
I'm
put it
not
down
a little
there, so
girl,
she
my
puts it
man.
out. She definitely got that vision. But the first team is gonna be on the screen here, guys. Mortality, the left side of the screen. The bottom side of the map is going to be Sayo in the solo lane with Vaman. We got Fex in the mid lane. He's gonna be taking Agni. Frezzy on Guardian. He's gonna be taking Geb. Moex on Hunter. He's gonna be taking Rom. And in the jungle, we've got Freya, played by Rafford.
What do you think about this team's composition here, just looking at Mortality? I mean, you have to favor the Geb and Rom combo together, correct?
Oh, yeah.
So are you expecting just complete Mortality dominance? I mean, you're basically taking a look at the #1 EU taking on the very last in Team Coast.
Sure, but Coast definitely has a lot of shots they can get in here. I think one thing that Coast really has to be careful about this lineup from Mortality is the fact that Rom is very good at defending the Gold Fury. He's got that ultimate that goes up over the wall.
Very true.
He can shoot down on the Gold Fury. It's hard to take it down. But looking at Coast, speaking of them, you're going to be on screen here. You can see across the way, Team Coast is going to be Variety, Bobat, Corinyo. We've got Shaggy Shank, Princess Tomato. And, of course, Princess Tomato will be playing Athena this time around. He's going to have that global presence. He's going to have that taunt. He's going to have that mobility. But we've got Corinyo on Scylla, so a lot of root and crit.
Yeah, and I'm actually looking forward to the Battle of the Hunters. I think Moex taking on Shaggy is going to determine a lot in this game.
Well, Shaggy Shank has been very, very phenomenal. I mean, you can still see 1.2 KDA, definitely very tough for his role, but we were 1-7, and you can hold down a 1.2 KDA, you're positive, and you got 427 GPM. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is. But then at the same time, like yesterday, you see like stats really don't tell the entire story, right? They really don't. I mean, junglers can go, 2-0, and everyone's like, oh, he was doing his job, right? But it's like, did he really do his job? Like yesterday, we saw a Circuit play, and it was like, you kind of get out of the battle. You're not really helping your team. You're not staying with the team fight. Stats really don't tell the entire story.
Well, one thing I want to bring up, it's exactly to that point, is the fact that Emilito has one of the highest death counts per Guardian, but also a very strong win rate and very strong play. So he dies a lot, and his stats are not very good, but he plays a very, very strong Guardian. But we're going to cut to a brief break, guys. We're going to be right back here with the continuation of the first matchup of the day, Mortality versus Team Coast Blue. Stick around. We'll see you soon. Welcome back, everyone, to the first game of the day, Mortality Esports against Team Coast Blue. We're in the SPL Week 3. This is going to be the Friday, the third day of Week 3, and we're going in hot and heavy. Of course, in case you missed the pre-show, we're going to be hopping into Mortality Esports' bottom side of the map. We got Sayo on Vomana, Deep on Geb, iRapid playing Freya in the jungle, Moex on Rom. Agni is going to be in the mid lane, played by Fexes, and across the way, Coast is going to be on the Chaos side. And as I tweeted earlier, Chaos wins 61% of the time in SPL. We'll see if they can make that true here today. Cornio is on sell. That's true. 61% of the time, Chaos wins.
Wow.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Why is it so lopsided?
The movement speed buff, you start first on jungle. That's what it's got to be. I mean, you got
just
movement speed. You get right the jungle faster. You got attack speed. You get around the map. You got more map control. It just tends to be that way. But just to finish here, Cornio on Cell in the mid lane. Princess Tomato on Athena in the support. Ninja Bobat in the jungle with Nemesis Variety playing Zhang Kui in the solo lane. And Shaggy Shake on Apollo in the Hunter role.
Yep, and taking a look here at the initial starting items here. Look at Vomana here with the Emerald first pick.
Weird.
What is he trying to accomplish with
this
Tribear?
We saw this yesterday with Dazer. He picked this up. Now it's a little bit different because now he's playing a physical character. Yesterday was a magical character who needs that vampiric shroud. So Death's Toll may not be necessary, but again, Sao has no Hand of the Gods here, Gandhi. I mean, he doesn't really have the clear. He's not going to have as much HP, but he does have magical protection and regeneration, which is going to work really well. Plus 6 MP5, so he's got some kind of mana regeneration there that's going to help him out with his abilities. And he's also one of the only warriors that can clear the way with one ability.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, he is going to have a very, very difficult time with Zhang Kui.
That's right.
He is going to have a very, very tough time with that. But taking a look here, I really want to focus on the duo lane, man. I think D Frezzy's going to get involved really, really quick.
Here they go. Cripple on Princess Tomato left side and poke him down just a bit. Forces Shaggy Shake out, but here goes Frezzy. He goes straight to the back harpy. He's not messing around. Maybe even going for the damage. Oh, he's going to be going for the damage here. He hogs first. Athena's coming on over. Does she have a hog available is the question. Will he leash it? He's got no way to clear this. I imagine he's going to leash this. He's taking his chances. Nope, he leashed it right there, forcing him back. But here comes Cornio. Rotation. Fex says, Frezzy causing trouble.
Yeah, well, I actually like the fact that the mid came over there, but then realized, okay, I have to get here because I'm going to miss out on so much gold in the mid lane. So smart rotation there. They did contest it, so they didn't lose it. But Frezzy already making his presence known.
Oh, absolutely, and that's the power of Gab, right? That rollout means you can clear a bit, basically the distance between the long lane and the mid lane almost in one single go, and that makes him so powerful in mobility. As far as the solo lane goes, it seems like Bobat is out of the wings here. He's backing off towards his back harpy, coming back to the solo lane, though, losing a little bit of experience there. Damage coming on Sayo, Bobat dropping low. There goes the damage pulse from Raffer, but it will fall off, and back to the tower he goes, but down to 200 HP.
Yeah, he's got to play it a little bit safe. I think he's going to be okay. I mean, they have good ward coverage there on that side of the jungle. Meanwhile, solo lane, or mid lane, excuse me, all the way push up on the tower. Mortality's being so aggressive, and now here, they're just going to rotate through. I mean, they do walk over a ward, so they'll return the lane, but even still, the aggression so far all about Mortality.
Well, that's the thing, right, is that Scylla's early laning phase is one of the worst of the mages. You just can't clear that wave with Crush at level 1, 2, or 3. So it's very difficult to make it work. Shaggy Shake avoiding the hit from President left side. Not going to be taken out by that spaceship. They're going to go for the stun. Mid lane Faction's not going to grab it. Cornio playing very safe. So the question is, can Cornio survive this lane to make it to a strong mid game?
I don't know. That's the thing. I mean, wasn't Scylla actually picked into Agni, correct? Or was Agni picked after?
Scylla, I believe, was Agni was picked at 4th there for Mortality. So Agni was after. No, actually, yeah, Agni was after Scylla.
Okay. So I'm assuming it has to be a relatively hard counter. So Fexes should have an easy time in the mid lane.
Well, almost
correct?
every mage is pretty confident against Scylla in the mid lane. I mean, her push is pretty weak. So you look at Poseidon is probably one of the most notable ones. Easy clear at level 2, able to kind of push the wave back. So, I mean, Agni is a great stand-in as well. We know Fexes plays a fantastic Agni, so we'll see if Corneo can make this work. Don't believe I don't think he was the last one to play Scylla, as I check here on the numbers. But, you know, at this point, we're looking at a very strong... Yeah, so he was not where the... Scylla's been played once in the SPL, and it wasn't Corneo. So at this point, he's trying to pioneer that secondary Scylla pick, and I'm a fan of it, but we'll see how it works out.
Yeah, and Frezzy actually go ahead and rotating all the way over into the mid Harpies. Great job by him to clear those up and secure them. And it looks like we actually have a little bit of a fight here on the other side of the Harpies here, Dry Bear.
On the right side and push it up. A little bit of damage on Frezzy, forcing him back here as the wave goes out. Looks like one of the Harpies was stolen there by Bobat, but the other one on the side of Mortality, which means that Coast is going to get a little bit of a gold game, but not going to be enough to overtake the fact that Mortality is currently 132 in the lead. Experience is dead even. So a lot of it comes down to the fact that there's going to be a lot of rotations on the right side, whereas, of course, in the left lane, we're going to see Princess Tomato share a little bit with Shaggy Shank.
Do you think this is going to be one of those games where it's just really, really slow up until like the 10, 11, 12 mark?
It depends, right? Because if they get some kind of opportunity, they may go for early Gold Fury. I mean, Gold Fury sometimes comes between 8 and 10 minutes. We'll see. On left side, Frezzy is going to shield himself and disengage there. But yeah, I mean, sometimes, you can go for a 4 or 5 minute Gold Fury if you get the opportunity. I mean, you get a pick, you can go for the Hog 3, but that's the big thing. But, looking at this, I mean, you've got Geb versus Athena, the top 2 supports. Let's look at the stats here a little bit on how these gods perform.
Well, taking a look, Geb at 1.6 KD. On the other side, Athena a little bit more better, I guess, in that category, but... Win percentage-wise, Geb 52%. You can't beat that. Geb 431 gold per minute as well. I got to chalk that up to Yannick, I got to say.
Yeah.
He literally, I think, did he make Geb like how he is now?
Oh, Geb's always been good since the day he came out. I mean, he's been so fantastic, and I think players are just now starting to respect him more and more as they go into the SPL, but he was also quite popular into the qualifiers for the Pro League, so he's just been such a great character. Athena did fall off, though, and did start coming back towards the last stage of the qualifiers for the Pro League, but the question is, can they make it work? Raph on the right side can go for damage buff and start picking this up here, but, early on, a lot of itemization situations here.
Yeah, well, what's going on with the show of absorption there from D. Frezzy?
That is weird for him to pick it up this early on. Now, he's not going to go for the
already
boots.
level 3.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, he's put a lot of gold into it. It's 900 gold spend, whereas he could have put that towards his Boots of Midas to get extra gold gained early. So he may suffer in that department, where you see across the way, Princess Tomato's got tier 2 guard boots. She's going to have her Midas boots up soon.
Yeah, that's... I don't even know what he would really be going with for that show of absorption, besides... I don't know, but we do have a little bit of an engagement here on the solo lane. Variety taking a lot of damage, is going to be able to get out there, but here comes Freya's ultimate, isn't able to finish the kill. Vamana trying to get up in there. This should be a kill for Vamana, but he is struggling, and finally the big baby is going to get huge, and oh my god.
The body blocks!
Oh my god!
Take it down, double kill for Bobat,
embarrassing.
and that was just exactly that, a throwaway there for Mortality. A beautiful rotation from Coast, and here's the problem, right? When you're playing in a game, the first thing I always tell my viewers when you're going into a match, take stock of what globals there are, because you don't want to be surprised by it in the lane. It's exactly what happened there. Raffer got dunked on by Athena, not expecting him to come across the map there, looking for the damage. Oh, I'm a monster! Just missing there. Corn, you're going to dodge away from that one. Apollo's up in the air looking for the dunk, and they find Vex is going to dash. Needs a little bit more. The Geb shield buys time. Vex is going to dash away. The crush lands, but he gets out through the left side of the lane. Dash away is Shaggy Shank, and somehow, someway, Vex survives.
Yeah, and Moex actually holding on to his ultimate there. He's like, well, I don't think anyone's going to be weak enough for me to get a pick here. So, all in all, though, Vamana really... Sayo just threw away that kill.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he dove. He went all in for that, which... I mean, Zhang Kui was super weak. Do you think that was the right play?
It was greedy, and honestly, you look at the low HP there for Zhang Kui. He did have a heal from the exorcism available coming off a cooldown, so it was tough for them to give that away. Realistically, what it came down to is the fact that they didn't take stock of the heal from Variety, and also Raffer missing a single shot from that Valkyrie's Discretion up in the air. And so once you miss that one shot, that's it. But they committed to that fight. A lot of times, when you miss the kill early and you force them back to the base, that's a win in and of itself. Make sure they leave the lane and you get some gold and some experience there.
Well, Raffer pushing in through the jungle here, taking a look in the mid lane. Everything's still going according to plan. I mean, Scylla's been underneath their tower the entire game. Oh my god, so much damage. Is managing to stay alive here, as now Fexus is going to disengage instantly.
Yeah, Fexus doesn't want any part of that. We're going to see a little bit of a control on the left side, almost stopping Second Shake from going back to the base. 3 members on the Gold Fairy. They do have Hog 3 across the way. Did he pick it up? Prince to me on Hog 2. He went for boots. This is what Frezzy was planning all along, rushing the active items to get Tier 3 Hog.
Oh no,
now
reset.
They can't get the reset coming out. Bobat's in the area. Fex has no communication. They're looking for the kill. Now's their chance to go for it. They can still do it. They still have Hog 3, but they have to be able to get there in time to take it down. Looks like they're not going to want to go for it.
Yeah, well, I mean, they had good ward coverage. Good for them to get some disengage on that. But, I mean, we do have a little bit of a fight here over the damage buff. Damage exchange. Raffer really needs to be careful.
Looking to force back on Frezzy up in the air. Good ultimate coming back down on top of Fex as we're going to see him forced away here. Needs a poke from Cornio. Does he have a dash? No. The hit from Cornio takes him down. Now we're going to see Frezzy backing away. The dash in. Does he have a mez? The so beautiful one more shot. Got the shield active. Can he get the distance? The slow comes out from Rom on the damage here on the Bobat. He got the ultimate coming out from Rom. One shot coming down. Second shot coming down. Needs to get the third. Each time he goes down, missing the third shot. Still alive. And now the right side we see Sio fighting against the Gold Fury.
Oh, he was so close. The egg is such a good play. Vamana now is in a chance to get the steal, isn't able to do so. This baby is in a world of hurt here as Scylla's ult is going to come down. He's still managing to stay alive, though. If he gets out, this is going to be big, but he should be taken out by Apollo here very soon. Make that Scylla. That is a humongous lead here from Team Coast.
My girl Scylla taking over here.
Don't
Coast
you start with me.
I love Scylla so
Don't
much.
you start with me.
3-0-0 in the beginning. Coast having a lot of trouble, previously in their matchups going into the third week here. But Mortality, as I was saying in the picking stage, either they're on or they're off. And when they're on, damn, they look good. But when they're off, there's a lot of holes to pick through. And it seems like Coast is really hitting that mark.
Well, you know, we've seen the chinks in the armor of Mortality, and yesterday when Habois, is that you approve of the pronunciation?
Habois.
Okay. When Habois was played by Sio, I thought it was a perfect play for him, right? Like, he can be super aggressive with him, everything's going according to plan, but I don't know about Vamana. I think he's trying to increase his god pool a little bit too much, if that makes sense, right?
Well, it works for Xaylia. It
does work for Xaylia.
They both like that. So I mean, it's kind of, it sets the same vein, right? It's that late game carry damage output. Oh, taunt in the mid lane, gonna miss as Fex dashes away. Keep in mind that Agni is not CC immune during that dash. That could have been a taunt mid dash, but a little bit poorly timed there by Princess Tomato, and good prediction there from Fex as damage buff on the ground. He's gonna come over and pick it up. Right side, a lot of aggression come down here. Sio dropping low. Athena ultimate on the ground. There's Nemesis ultimate on Sio, forcing him back away. There's the Exorcism up, and there goes Raffer. He's still stacking Ghosts up on top of him. They're forcing him away, but they cannot do enough. Man, they're tanky.
Yep, and now Gab, he wanted a piece, and he was like, okay, you know what, so I do not trust you at all. I'm going to back out of this one. And, dude, Mortality doesn't have an answer right now.
They don't.
They have no answer. What do they need to do differently, Trevor?
Well, honestly, you look at it, right? They do have a very strong late game. And, you know, look at the way Scylla has been changed since she kind of got into the scene. She was picked up almost every single game when she first came out. And then, of course, you basically nerf her late game damage, which means she's not the same big burst mage that she was before. You're still going to get that from Agni, and you can have late game Freya, Vamana, and Rom damage. So Mortality's here, going to play the long game. They're going to look for the mid and late game scaling. They're going to look for the carry potential, and hoping that they start to fall off. Because you look at the damage here, Coast can't stack up late game against Mortality unless they're fighting well in team fights. Nemesis is going to fall a little bit behind. Apollo's going to scale. Scylla's going to be about average there for mages, and then Junquei in the same boat. So the hyper scaling from Vamana, Freya, is really going to make a big difference for Mortality.
And, you know, Moex is still doing a good job at keeping his team in the game. He's a level 12. He's doing an excellent job farming by himself. And, you know, that's what he's kind of known for, right? He's kind of known for being like a very safe hunter who sits in lane and really just farms up. But he does have to be careful there. Good job rolling out of that one. And now he's just going to sit here and farm up. I really think a lot of this is going to come down to Moex here in the later stages of the game. But when you're playing for that late game Dry Bear, how do you go about it? Do you just ward up and turtle up around towers and not overextend?
The biggest thing is not losing objectives. You can't lose too many gold threes. You can't lose too many, late game itemization options. And, if you fall too far behind in towers as well. So it all comes down to objectives. I mean, you can lose kills all you want. Speaking of mid lane, double taunt on Fexes and Raffer force away damage on Fexes, dropping him low. Good stuff. Need the dash to get away here. The damage on Princess Timo might be enough. One more shot will do it now. Turning around back on a Bobat. There goes the hit. Gab Shield's here. Variety's got the knock. There goes the ultimate coming down as well. Forcing out the ultimate with the card will do damage while Freya's up in the air, but the Geb shield is still standing strong. It's going to be a 1-for-1 exchange. but it was a mid for a support.
Yeah, mid for support. Not always what you're looking to see, but good job by Raffer actually ulting up there, hanging out there, not being targeted. He disengaged completely. Vamana able to get a little bit of experience there. Tries to engage Variety as soon as he gets back in the lane.
Shield on Raffer, force away. Gebelt going to completely miss there. Swift Vengeance being apropos to his name. There goes the ultimate come out from Athena looking for the kill on Raffer, dropping away. Does he have an ultimate? He does not. Your big damage, and Bobat slices him to bits.
That is got to be the most frustrating thing in the world. You're like, I'm so close to getting away. Oh, Athena taunt.
Well, at that point,
hopes and dreams are crushed.
He knows it, right? I mean, he doesn't have any CC immunity. He doesn't have his ultimate. He doesn't even have a banish. He's just dead to rights there. So, I mean, at that point, he's just trying to cut the corner, hoping that the slice of dice would go through the wall and get clipped, but that was just a far shot.
Yeah. Sayo finally still doing some damage there. He does have to be careful. He's going to be chased out by Variety. Variety does have help from Ninja Bobat, but he should be able to live this, but they're actually going to go dive.
Oh, they're diving onto this one. Look at the tower. They're going to find it. Sayo dropping low. Bobat's got to get the slice. The tower for Variety. Sayo's doing it! He's dashing away.
He's going to do it!
Bobat dashing through. Sayo going to back here. No rotation. He's pinging it hard. He wants the rotation coming out from Raffer. Can Raffer get there in time is the question. He's got Swift Vengeance coming up in a few seconds here. He's going to get away, but that is the power of Vamana right there.
That is a lot of mobility there, and actually Raffer should be able to catch it before he backs, and down goes Ninja Bobat. That is going to be Raffer getting a big kill. That is how Sayo needs to play. He needs to be the playmaker here.
Oh, man, so good. But let's look at the soul lanes here across the screen. You can see Variety and Sayo. Sayo at 3.0 KDA, 537 GPM. We got Variety at 1.0 KDA, a third of what Sayo's boasting right now, and 419. So you can see a big difference. 537 GPM is a huge number.
Yeah, normally when you're in the 500s, that means you're a Johnny Crusher, right?
He's the highest GPM in the league right now. He's got
he's got 537
there, so definitely a big start for him. Things are looking so good for Sayo, but again, he seems to be going for that late game play here. 0-2 already. He didn't get credit for that kill. Of course, he did not tag Variety in that last fight.
Yeah, and I know we talked about Fexes taking on Soa, and honestly, Carino is actually in more fights than
What
Agni.
is Frezzy doing? Inside of the Goldtree gets taunted forward, taking a lot of damage here. They're going to want this kill because that means they have no hog. There goes the shockwave, there goes the ult, but he is dead to rights. Shaggy Shane's going across the sky. Who we dunk on? Going to look for Fexes, I would imagine. Going to duck right on top, getting the kill on Fexes, forcing this away. Sayo knocking him there. Now looking at damage on Bobat, but he's all alone. Scattering the team, though. He's spreading them apart. Taunt on top of Raffer. Up in there he goes, but where can he go afterwards is the question. Variety's got that exorcism. There's the stun. Damage on top. I'm a monster. Going to miss. Raffer is fighting for his life, but nothing will come of it. And Sayo coming back from the mid lane after getting no kills. It's a 2 versus 5.
Right now? He's going to go for this.
He's got ult.
Big baby. He is going to miss it. He's going to be doing a lot of damage. Moex is actually going to take the long way in here. He might be able to get some cleanups here, but down goes Sayo. Now he is in a 1-on-5 scenario. He needs to get out of there. That fight was a disaster from the beginning. They got split up. Moex taking the long way around, barely doing any damage in there.
They're barely doing any damage indeed, and that's the problem, right? Is that he jumped in there for no reason. It was 2v5. They had no gods left. They're going for the Gold Fury, but the problem is once you get there, what are you going to do? I mean, their thoughts were in the right place. You had a Ram ult from a distance. You had Silence on top with AoE. The problem is, once they got there, Retribution Shield from Nemesis, Heal from John Clay, Scatter from the Sentinel on Scylla, Athena dashed away, and Apollo was gone. So it's just like, they got the Gold Fury and they're out.
God. I mean, looking at the gold difference now, it is 4,500 gold in favor of Team Coast. The experience, just as bad, dude. I didn't see that coming in here. I mean, even looking at the team compositions, I was still thinking that Mortality would come out on top, but that has not been the case.
Now, let's look at this holistically as well. I mean, only one tower down, and it's in favor of Mortality.
Yeah.
You're sticking at 12-3. They got the Gold Fury down, and they're only 4,500 gold ahead. You expect a little bit more, but definitely holding on to it. So, at 16 minutes, it's definitely a big lead. It's actually it's above average, definitely.
Yeah, and they also have a lot of aggressive wards, too. I mean,
do.
You see the Sentry Ward down on the Gold Fury. You also see another Sentry Ward here in Mortality's jungle, right beside those mid-harpies on the right side. So, they have a lot of good warding.
They do. They definitely do, and that's going to help across the board. They're going to be able to control the map, and that's the problem. When you're behind, you can afford wards. When you're ahead, you buy more wards to see exactly what the enemy's doing, so you can counter them, take their jungle, and shut them down. And so Coast is doing everything right here, and it seems like Mortality is not really able to get the speed in the beginning they need, and they're going to have to try and play for a mid-game Gold Fury or Fire Giant steal, but they're on light water here.
Let me ask you this question. Why do you think we're seeing success out of Coast right now?
It's going to be poor rotations
since
for
they
Mortality.
are 1-7, what do you think they've switched up that you've noticed so far in this game?
They're being hyper-aggressive. They got a good rotation. It came down to picking stage as well. You pick a durable soul laner. Oh, left side. Forces damage here on top. Looking up there he goes, but where will he go when he lands is the question. Geb Shield buys him time. There's Shockwave forcing him back here. Apollo's up in the air. Will he dunk down? Rotation coming from Bobat and Corneo as well. Oh, Moex dashed away, surviving a little bit of the Shaggy Shank, forcing him to back away as well. Frezzy by himself. Sikkim. Ultimate from Geb. Forcing him back. Crushes now on cooldown here as Raffer runs back to the tower. It's solo laner Delight on the right side as they're staying in their lane. And Fex is already back home to his mid lane land. And at this point, it's going to be a full disengage.
Yeah, and Fex is actually doing a decent amount of damage there on Ninja Bobat. Fexus didn't want to commit at all. He pushed his lane and was just like, I don't think I want any piece of that. And because of that, he was able to get back to his lane very quickly. But we are seeing here as it's going to be... I don't know how they didn't manage to get a kill out of that.
Well, a lot of it came down to good protection from Mortality, and I think really the big point there is Rom ultimate. As these Fex is going to go down to the mid lane there, Corneo chasing him down with the Sentinel. Doesn't have it to escape, but doesn't really need it. But yeah, I mean, that last fight, that's the thing. Rom goes up in the air, buys 5 seconds for himself, and teammates to rotate, and then you can't kill him in that time, but Shaggy Shank wants it. Shaggy Shank goes for it. Shaggy Shank backs away.
Apparently, he looks like Shaggy.
He does.
Really?
I think that's part of the inspiration.
That should be a cosplay for him.
You think so?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
I'd like it.
You could be Scooby.
Shaggy Shank, actually, all the Coast guys are really cool people. Yeah. They're very laid back, very fun, very lighthearted. So definitely a good win for them here today if they're able to secure it. 13-3, looking very good. They're on top right now, sitting at 4,900 gold in the lead. 8,000 experience. It's always a good look when you have a lot more experience than gold in the lead. Moex on the left side dashing away. Princess May looking for the taunt. Doesn't have the distance. Can't keep up with that sprint. And the Nikes will get him out.
Yep. And looking at the objectives, I'm almost expecting Coast to start grouping and start pushing here. I mean, you see the Gold Fury is going to be up here in just a little bit here, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him push down the duo lane. But, I mean, that mid turret is literally, it's like one hit. One wave is going to clean that up.
It is a sneeze away. But, it's 500 gold, right? So that's the difference, is that you're going to look at a 500 gold tower that adds 100 gold per person. And then you look at it in the start of this, and it doesn't seem to make that much of a difference, but what it does, especially when you take the mid tower, is it gives you the map control. It allows you to open up the map, and you see that you can rotate through the mid lane, steal buffs a lot easier. You don't have that Cylon that sits in the mid and controls everything.
Yeah, well, Fexus now is going to watch his tower get taken out. He is going to have a little bit of help here from Frezzy as they are just going to hold down the mid lane. Freya is going to come over with the rotation. Meanwhile, Sayo all in his lane by himself. He was able to acquire a tier 1 turret, and he's actually going to be able to get this wave as well. So he's actually doing an amazing job at managing to stay in this game.
Well, it's a good start, right? And we saw the right side, Sayo's pushing up the tower and taking that down, but the Gold Fury is starting up here, right there. The Gold Fury is going to be started. It looks like they're just counter-warding for the time being, and now they're going to be, just being cautious at this point. It's a good pickup at that time, but now, you're going to see a little bit of the map open up. You see Coast kind of coming together, looking for that objective, and they know that they don't have the same late game that Mortality does, but at that point, let's look at what the jungler really brings to the presence, right? Because when they're able to rotate around, steal away buffs, and really can bring presence, if they don't get a kill in the lane, it's not the worst thing ever. They're just showing themselves, putting fear into the enemy, and controlling everything. So definitely the jungler makes a big difference in the beginning of the game.
Now, would you say Raffer has had more of an impact on this game?
Raffer definitely. I mean, we saw the right side, getting a lot of damage out. And I think the problem is that he hasn't really had as much of a presence as Ninja Bobat has. 5-1-5 there so far for Bobat, but look at these stats.
Oof, 14% win-loss ratio.
Oh, yeah.
But, it's so hard when you look at it just because, they are 1-7. So the fact that he has a 1 kill death average, it's not bad. Right. That means he's doing his job. I would say. He's managing to get a piece of the pie at least. Now, looking at Soa here, Dry Bear, what's going on with this build? Is she going to be rushing a rod or a pendant?
It's hard to say, right? Because the pendant gives you the CDR. It really picks it up in the beginning. But the rod is so good for Scylla. It makes your ultimate do more damage. It makes you get that big burst. And maybe she'll go into Soul Reaver after, because the Soul Reaver, of course, does count for that ultimate. The bonus damage from Soul Reaver will count as an extra kill for the ultimate, so you can use it again. So it's hard to say. I mean, we see more mages nowadays go for that Chronos pendant early for the CDR. Left side Raffer forced away. Here, Sikkim Crush going to land. Oh! good. It's doing about half his HP right now. Raffer's feeling that one.
Yeah, and it looks like they're all getting ready to group for the Gold Fury here. Ninja Bobat has Frezzy in his sights. He's going to do just a little bit of damage to him, but not a whole lot, as Moax now has to wait. Now, this might be the turning point in the game. I mean, they're up 13-3. If they secure this Gold Fury and they're able to win this team fight on top of it, this is just going to put them so far ahead, their objectives are going to go in their favor as well.
The Gold Fury started up here for Coast, and they're kind of pushing this one back. There goes the Retribution show up. Bobat's just zoning them right now. Right side, Sile's looking for the kill on Variety. Can he find it is the question. There goes Exorcism. A few more shots necessary. The heal from Exorcism. The stun comes out into tower range. Variety is just so hard to kill.
Yeah, he's impossible to kill. It is really how it looks, man. And, you know, speaking of junglers that we just looked at, Chins is super expensive, isn't it?
Yeah, the most recent nerf to Chins made it a lot more expensive.
Why do you think he's pushing that?
I mean, they've got the gold lead, so he's rushing into it. It works for Nemesis, but, you know, we've seen a lot of people, I mean, Nemesis and Osiris used to get it first item every single time. Okay. So they'd like to delay it longer just because it is a lot more expensive. So I guess at this point he's realizing, you know, I'm 5-1-5. I've got gold. I may as well rush into Chins here, make my auto attacks hurt, and it looks like he might even be going into Witchblade after that to slow down. This is a great choice, because the Witchblade passive slows attack speed of enemies. Freya, Rom, and Sayo on Vamana all need attack speed early.
You know, the one thing I gotta say, just like the one thing that like jumps out at me like completely is the fact that Moax has not had any impact on any team fight. 0 kills, 0 deaths, 0 assists.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
granted, you can take the spin and say, okay, you know, he's in lane, he is level 19, he is doing his job, he's keeping up with the enemy team, but only Sayo is level 19 as well. It's like they're almost just playing for themselves to kind of get back into the game.
Well, to be fair, he's 0 for 3. They only have 3 kills, so it's hard to be part of all of that. And a lot of that has happened in the solo and mid lane.
I mean, there's been 13. Yeah. There's been basically 13 engagements.
But this is what we see from Moax all the time. He just sits in the lane, AFK farms, comes out 30 minutes in, and kills everybody. So that's something that Coast has to think about, is what is the late game potential coming out here for them? Because, you know, honestly, you're looking at it thinking, does he have the late game potential to do it?
Yeah, well, we are seeing the Rod actually getting bought here by Scylla.
Oh, wow.
And so
that damage.
That's going to be a lot of damages here, as we're actually going to see a little bit of a standoff.
Right side fight, looking for Variety. Crits coming out from Sayo. Up there goes Raffer, looking for the damage from his ultimate. Looks like he might be finding it. Sayo gets the kill on Variety. Now looking for Bobat. Popping the Aegis will buy time. Looking for the slow. Looking for the knockup. Retribution buys a lot of HP as well.
Oh,
the double crush. Does he have the ultimate build? He does indeed. I'm a monster. Needs to hit this. Needs to hit it good. Hits it. No, barely missing that one. There's ultimate coming out from Shaggy Shake. The crush will find it, though. Raffer goes down on that one. Now looking for Sayo. Sayo slowing down Corneo. Corneo gets away with that Sentinel. Now they're going to be back away, but Rod's up in the air.
Yep, Rom doing an excellent job just raining down fire here. He does have Athena right in front of him. Athena doing such a good job taunting all 3 of them right there. Still taking so much damage. Is able to finally get away. Moax chasing it down. The damage is going down. He is actually going to be a part of this team fight, and they are still chasing right now.
Well, they're still going for this one. Sayo on top of this one. On the backside, you see the tower taking a lot of damage here. Now it's going to go towards this. Corneo's got nothing left on cooldowns. We're going to see Shaggy Shake. He's so low. He's got to get out of here. Frezzy taking out the tower. Does Corneo want to go back and throw in the Sikkim, but not going to hit that one. The wave will go down, and finally, it looks like Mortality is picking up some speed.
Yeah, and you know, the scary thing, just looking back at that team fight, you could almost say that Scylla that's why Scylla's not played, because their ultimate's so hard. You have to predict where players are going to move perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like so far there's been no ult hit.
She would have blew them up.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, it seems like she's missed every single one so far. I haven't seen her hit I'm a Monster just yet, so maybe if they start to hit that, they'll make a big difference. But she can be starting the Helm here and looking for a lot of penetration early. I don't imagine she'll go for the anti-crit item, because there's only really 2 characters on the enemy side that will be critting, and they won't be critting as much. So this is probably just going to be the cheap physical protection item that gives you the pen, gives you the magical power, and it's, you know, it's 1,900 gold. It's so cheap to pick up.
Now, do you think that's the right call here? Actually, hold the ticket here. They're looking to bait the Fire Giant here, as Sayo's actually is going to go in on Ninja Bobat. He is going to be able to do some damage there, but really he's just buying his teammates time, as now Geb is finally starting to get a piece of this pie.
Well, they're kind of picking it up here, and now it's more of that rush, right? Because Coast realizes they have to close this game out. They've been sitting on pretty much the same lead for about 14 minutes or so. So it's really hard for them to say, you know, we're going to be able to keep this game shut down, because you see the left side. Actually, I love this play here from Shaggy Shank, split pushing while Mortality's running around.
Yeah, this is he's going to cut through this tower. He might even be able to get a Phoenix in case he doesn't see any callouts from his teammates, basically saying
up
that
in the air. Look at the damage. There goes ultimate from Gab. Knock up. Syle's looking for the kill on Variety. He's got the ultimate. He's got the heal. There's the Thin ultimate on top of Variety, reducing the damage he takes. Raffer, Rom raining down from above. The fire starts to burn down here. Can they actually get this kill? Dashing for Fex in the back. He's all alone. He's got nowhere to go. The crush takes him down. Killing spree for Corneo. Can he hit the ultimate?
Well, Apollo making his presence down here, and they are fully disengaging out of this one here. Mox now is going to be able to get out here as Sayo is just going to get absolutely shredded by Ninja Bobat.
Oh, dashing away Sayo is completely gone, being very, haphazard with the way he's playing. I mean, he's dashing in, he's starting fights by himself, and I think he's really overestimating how tanky Vamon really is.
This is going to be a free fire giant here. I mean, this is going to be D. Frezzy. Let's see how big your cojones are, my man.
Well, he's coming in. He doesn't have a blink here, so he can't blink right in. He's got to roll out to get there. He's getting low. Does he have it? Knock up. There goes the hog. Now he's by himself. He had to risk that. You see across the way, we're going to see Mox make another smart call, going for the Gold Fury. 1,500 gold to the team, kind of building things up. But, it's been a rough ride for Mortality.
Yeah, and, Mortality, they needed that team fight not only just because it gave them the enemy team the Fire Giant, but also, I mean, Coast has really kind of let off the pedal a lot so far.
Oh,
they've
absolutely.
been letting Mortality try to climb back into this one where you would almost expect them to kind of keep the pedal down to the floor and really force Mortality to get in every team fight possible when they had that humongous lead.
Well, they're building up a lot of strength here, right? Damage buff going to pick up here if FX is going to try and clear this one out. 30 minutes, almost on the clock. You've got about a minute and 10 seconds left before we go towards that 30-minute mark, and that's what signifies the start of the late game, right? It's the very threshold where we go, we're kind of closing out mid-game. The objectives are falling down. There's only 3. I don't know if you would call that 3, but you got 2 and maybe 1/10 of a tower left on the side of Mortality. So, it's tough because you look across the top of the map, you've got 1,500 per tier 2, 500 per tier 1. That's going to be totaling 5,500 gold. They haven't even had a chance to go for it yet.
Yeah, now I have a question for you here, as it looks like we are actually going to have an engagement soon, so I'll ask you quickly. Enfeebling Curse, is that a thing?
I like that.
You like it?
I like it. So Weakening Curse reduces healing.
Yeah.
Enfeebling Curse reduces attack speed.
Okay.
Sayo and Raffer desperately need attack speed. See, they're both running Fatalis right now, so it's going to shut down those 2 very strong auto-attack characters. I mean, you see Mox, Raffer, and Sayo are all auto-attack based. You shut down the attack speed, they can't do any damage, and so I love the choice for Princess Tomato. Fourth in this fight out, Frezzy in trouble, root to the ground, Crush going to come out here. Will it be a good still ultimate and force this fight to end early and look for the Titan damage on Variety, looking for Fexus. Fexus is going to die to the damage from the Ghost. The Crush comes out! There's I'm a Monster! Still has it available, but of course Raffer will be going back to base, but Sayo, he's still on the right side of the map.
Yeah, Sayo finally returning to base here, and he's like, sorry, guys, I kind of dropped the ball there, but Zhang Kui is going to be a little bit weak. Sayo's going to try to chase him down. He should be given this kill as well, unless he can buy some time here, is able to get that one. But meanwhile, in the middle, Phoenix, Raffer is in a world of trouble.
Dash it away. There's nothing. It's all Sayo, man. It is all Sayo all the time right now. Can the Sayo hour save the day? Prince Tomato's going home, but looks like he does have an ultimate available. He come right back into this. The Titan's under pressure. This might be it for Mortality, ladies and gentlemen. The lowest team in EU and the highest rated team in EU. The highest rated team will lose Coast, finding their second recorded win of the SPL so far. And if you're going to find it, why not find it against the top rated team?
Wow.
I love it.
Dude, well, the crazy thing here, not to kind of paint stories and everything, but look at Dignitas's run. Ooh. Dignitas 0-4. They were able to take that win versus Cogred, #1 team, and now they sit even.
That's right.
Is this going to be the start of Team Coast? I mean, they do have the bye week coming up as well, so that gives them just more time to kind of practice. But taking a look, I mean, look at Ninja Bobat.
Oh man, they have so much, but look at the damage here. You can see Ninja Bobat ended up dropping 19.9k. That is going to be the most in the entire game, and I think I would attribute that to not only great play, great pressure, but also comes down to him rushing that chins early. He's got the in-hand damage. We saw that in the last fight. We saw that Raffer was back up, trying to run away, but the slow plus the chins shut him down. Look at this replay on screen. Bobat popping the ultimate there, forcing Raffer away. When Raffer landed, he dropped immediately. The damage was way too much. You see the rotation coming out. Frezzy not able to peel as much as his team would like to. Variety still alive, looking for the damage. Can he get close enough? Heavily a Jelly Pop there as well. Now looking for Fexes. Watch Fexes. He's got nowhere to go.
Rest in pieces is what we like to call that.
Yep.
I mean, that's just a great play. There's a great mobility, good communication, and that's like the perfect scenario for Ninja Bobat to be in as well.
Oh, yeah.
He basically had that like handed to him on a silver platter as he's still just crushing everything.
Well, he's able to get that last kill there on the back of that Fire Giant, and that's what opened him up to pick up the Fire Giant and ultimately end the game. So Ninja Bobat getting his team a start.
I actually do have one question for you.
What's that?
So the Mox versus Shaggy dueling, right?
Yes.
That matchup, Shaggy really controlled it.
He did.
Is that just really just because of the mobility that we're going to see out of Apollo, where he can kind of split push and then kind of head into lane?
Well, I think it just came down to the control from Frezzy, and of course the fact that Princess was there and Frezzy wasn't. Gotcha. So you need the support control. But that's going to be it for us, guys. We're going to the next match coming up soon. You're watching the third day of the third week of the SPL, and soon it will be coming up here. But we're off into the match. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.